Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for the session How Commercial Cleaning is Changing in Qatar. My name is Samyanta. I'm the editor of the Clean Middle East magazine and your host through this panel discussion. Qatar is close to our hearts because it is a land that brims with opportunity for the cleaning industry. Upcoming events like the FIFA World Cup 2022 make it even more promising for the stakeholders of the cleaning industry manufacturers, distributors, suppliers, service providers, and end users alike. The sole aim of this session is to explore the opportunities and challenges that surround the Qatar cleaning and soft FM market and see how commercial cleaning is changing in the market. Moving on, let me introduce you to our panel of experts today. Joining us today is Mr. Prabhat Shukla, Director of Rooms and Quality acting at InterContinental Doha, the city. Prabhat is a hospitality professional who brings 20 years of extensive experience in housekeeping across India, Dubai, Kuwait, and Qatar. He also holds the position of President, Asian Housekeepers Association. He was founder and chairperson of Kuwait Housekeepers Group and Qatar Housekeepers Association Group. He is also the founding member of Asian Housekeepers Association. We are also joined by Mr. Shahed Khan, country manager for Qatar in Reza Hygiene. Shahed is leading Reza Hygiene Qatar to provide hygiene solutions for a multitude of industries, including facilities management, food manufacturing, healthcare, commercial laundry, and water treatment. With a wealth of experience spanning over 25 years in the UK in the industries of hospitality and hygiene solutions, before taking up the position in Qatar, Shahid has a passion and focus on providing high quality products and services to meet the diverse and ever changing market. The next in our panel is Ms. Zakiyya Karimzada, Hygiene and Qatar Clean Manager, Grand Hyatt, Qatar. Zakiyya graduated in Health, Safety and Environmental Engineering faculty. She has worked in Power International Holdings Aura Hospitality as Food Safety Officer, Dusit International as Hygiene Manager, and Qatar Clean Manager. Recently, Zakiyya has joined Grand Hyatt as a Hygiene and Qatar Clean Manager. She also happens to be the youngest member of our panel. Our next speaker who will be joining in a few minutes is Mr. Haroon Rashid, Soft Services Manager, The Maintainers Qatar. Haroon is a thorough soft services professional who brings more than 20 years of experience across India, UAE, and Qatar to the table. Haroon is currently overseeing 75 MOEAT schools. In the past, his major clients have been QIA, Qatar Steel, Qatar Airways, and Baladia Parks. The fifth and final member of our panel is Ms. Sidrah Riaz. Sidrah is the marketing unit head for Fine Solutions. Thank you so much for joining us today, Prabhat, Shahid, Zakiyya, and Sidrah. Now, without further ado, we will quickly turn over the time to our panel. Just a quick reminder for the audience, use Google Chrome and Safari for best results. Check out the menu bar to explore the meeting opportunities. Make use of the event feed to share your thoughts on the discussions or even drop your e-visiting cards. And if you want to tag us on your social media, use hashtag Synergy Series. So let's begin. This question is open for all panel members and is the first question of our discussion. How has commercial cleaning evolved in Qatar in the past 2 years? What has changed? Mr. Prabhat, can you take this question first?
Sure. A very good afternoon to everyone. And thank you, Middle East Clean, to invite us for this wonderful platform. When we are talking about commercially clean involved in the past 2 years in Qatar, as everybody know, Qatar is getting ready for the 2022 FIFA, which is one of the very, very big event, and then coming 2030. So a lot of event and the visions and things are coming up. So is the construction. And when comes the construction, you get a lot of different designs, different buildings. You can see over here the zigzag towers, a lot of mashrabiyas and the works. So it becomes again a very, very important how to maintain those towers and how you will make them sparkly clean and keep ready for the guest. And over there, the time comes where you require few of the specialized people. And that is something which is happening in coming time. As we can see, a lot of multinational big players are coming and existing players also are pulling up their success to be with them neck to neck to fight with them on the same fight, and they are getting it up. So you can see now you have a lot of options what you not had in 2012 2014, like whether it's a facade cleans or it is a big tower cleans. Like our property itself is 225-meter tower. Earlier used to be three or four companies who were professionally qualified to get them up. Now you have more than 20 companies which are getting it done. So competition is becoming tough, big, and healthier. So you are getting a lot of big market players also who are coming. The big change we have seen the time when Doha New Airport came up, and to maintain the Doha Airport again, it was not an easy thing, and they have a lot of new companies who came up to get it clean, and then anybody who will come will not have the only a niche at one place, so they started to spread their wings, and that's being a little bit beneficiary for others, and it is coming up in a big way.
Definitely, we see a lot of promising events happening in Qatar and a lot of development, fast-paced development coming up in Qatar. Sidrah, would you like to take this question in the meantime?
Yes, so just a quick good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much, Samya and Clean Middle East, for this. I'll just take a step back and, like, from the cleaning perspective, I think over the last 2 years, cleaning as just the whole perception has changed for every business. Now, for us, cleaning is more about hygiene. It's moving towards wellness, and this is what we are focusing on. And similarly, the last 2 years, the trends which have emerged over time, they are for every business, they are focusing more towards smart cleaning solutions, towards robotics, drone being used. And this whole technological revolution, I feel that it is fast and rapidly changing the overall cleaning industry. And this obviously, it's the rising demand to leverage technology for the cleaning operations. And now, sorry, I, so I think the whole overall cleaning as a discipline is now very well regarded. It's very well recognized now more than ever compared to what we did before the COVID-19 pandemic. So as a company, we did a quick survey, just quick research on identifying the key areas, or just understanding what cleaning or hygiene industry revolves around. And we found out there are three main things that three main, I would say, drivers for the hygiene industry. The first being the visibility. Second would be the frequency of cleaning and the sustainability aspect. So visibility is now, like before, cleaning was something that was done before the opening of the business or after, once the closing hours. But now we just, the consumers or just the end users, we want to see cleaning happening. Like, we want to see it happening. It kind of gives us the assurance or the confidence that this particular business or this premises or this venue is taking extra measures, or it's caring about the occupants' health and safety. And similarly for frequency of cleaning, I feel like with things opening up, things getting better, a lot of government are also putting up regulations or guidelines on how much frequency of cleaning needs to be done for every industry, for every channel. And lastly, the sustainability aspect. Consumers now are more they're educated, they're well aware, and they want to know what the premises, they are taking sustainable measures, what chemicals are being put out, just to understand the healthy cleaning measures which are being taken in the building, or for the guest or for the staff. So just the overall the trends, I feel, revolving this have changed. They're more towards now IoT for smart washrooms, sensors which are being introduced to detect the footfall levels in the building, the smart solutions to, it basically gives the business to minimize the cost, and effectively use their resources. So just the overall cleaning, the meaning has changed, and the trends have changed.
Definitely, cleaning has changed in a way that, across the Middle East and even across the world, cleaning used to initially be a back-end job. But now, everyone wants it to be visible. The consumers want it to be visible. The companies, the facilities want it to be visible. So a lot has definitely changed. So coming now over to you, Zakiyya, can you add to this question? What do you think has changed in the commercial cleaning industry?
Okay. First of all, hi to everyone. I am so glad to be here with you. Hi to the Sami. Thanks for the question. Generally, if I will take the question in the side of the program of the Qatar Clean side, let's say, the Qatar generally has been extremely meticulous with the cleaning strategies. Like we can see from the Minister of the Public Health approach or the Minister of the Environmental Health approach, that there's such a programs for the safety wise or hygiene wise. It is starting to be increased more. Why? Because of our nowadays pandemic situation, COVID-19. So one of the ways of emphasize laid on this wearing mask, gloves, everything. It is a part of these programs. You can see in the other receptions area, for example, in our hotels, in the restaurants, big chain restaurants, that there is also sanitized pen holders, like everything, detail by detail, we are sanitizing and disinfecting. So safety of the customer, let's say consumers, it is the prime importance for all the section in the like a food or let's say beverage or any related, because we are human and humans are everywhere. So all the cleaning companies, I think so, because as a hotel, what I am seeing, we are supplying the equipment like chemicals from them, that they are regulating their items also day by day. For example, before 2-3 years ago, we can see that there was not any sanitizing item chemicals working with the food establishment. There was some blue, like a color, if I don't make a mistake, that there was producing, but now there is many companies that they are also producing the chemicals with NSF certificate. So this is a big thing and big change in Qatar, I can say. And hotels ensure that their every staff starting to learn and correcting their cleaning methods, washing their hand after using the bathroom or after eating, everything. And the public health inspectors are there to help us to increase and develop our hygiene awareness, let's say. And changing, as you know, that happens every day. And I guess that's what is the only thing is constant. That's it.
Definitely, change is the only constant, and we have seen a lot of changes in this industry in the past 2 years, ever since the pandemic began. Now, coming over to you, Mr. Shahed, how has commercial cleaning changed in your perspective?
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for having me, and I'd like to welcome everybody to this first session. I'm struggling to hear the host, but I think she asked me, how has commercial cleaning evolved in Qatar in the past 2 years? Correct? Can everybody hear me? Yeah? Okay, so, I mean, we can't really compare what's happened in the last 2 years in Qatar. COVID has affected everybody's life. We've had lockdown, we've had businesses closing, we've had disruption on workers in offices. So we can't really compare what's happened over the last 2 years in a general scenario, in a day-to-day scenario. What I can say is Qatar has went through a huge transition. The transition being, we are all now at a heightened hygiene level. Okay, so like the speakers before me have said, it's visibility. Visibility is what the consumer is looking for. They're looking for confidence in the facility being cleaned and sanitized. Overall, there's not much more I can add as to what the speakers have said. Overall, the hygiene levels have heightened, which is only a good thing. I believe they were lacking in Qatar in some sectors, not all of them. Some of them were very good, but the ones that were lacking, they have now stepped up to the mark. And all in all, it's been a good transition, something that I hope keeps up.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Mr. Shahed. Our next question is about the FIFA World Cup once again. Qatar is going to witness the FIFA World Cup in 2022. More and more hotels are being built for this. How do you think this will affect the cleaning industry? So, if Mr. Prabhat, you could take this question first.
Hi. Yeah, as you know, a lot of hotels are coming up. A lot of new there's a disturbance. A lot of new chains are coming, and so the different thought process are coming, and lot of the cleaning industry requirements are coming with all new Zigmo things and new attires, new chandeliers, new stones, tiles, different things are there. So you require, and the existing cleaning companies which are there, their hands are full almost. So that's the reason when the new companies are coming are like new fresh air and new technologies, new ways, and people are much more on the sustainability, on the green methods. So people are looking for something different than what we were doing. Rather than the acidic chemicals, they are looking for some green chemicals, how we can get it done, the items which we are getting, how they are more available also, because now the second challenge comes up when the cleaning industry brings something new, how you will deliver it up and how consistent you will be, because we can't be depend on somebody who is having a one show one time and then he say it's not available, sorry, next 6 months it will take to come, or it is at the port. So that is something the new companies which are coming have to have with their strong infrastructure on that to bring it up and deliver consistently. And those when they are coming, there is the war of a talent, there is a war of a manning. So now what happened is much more the and everybody now in 2022 when it will open and time is limited, and I can see in 6 months you can have more than 20 to 30 or 40 hotels will open, and everybody will look forward the same time everything to be done. So more hands are required. Besides more hands are required, hotels will be not having that much of manpower to get it done, because people are a little bit worried. I will take a team of 250 people in my department. What will do after 2022 right now? Right now, they don't have any thoughts later. So a little bit worried are there that, so people are, what they are looking for a vendor management job. So fine, somebody can do the carpet shampooing contract, somebody can do the marble polishing, chandelier cleaning. So what happened is these errand jobs leaves them at ease. Only the people are much more into the cleaning. Now the robotics are coming for the room service orders and all. The robots started few of the hotels for the room service and the guest supplies order requests. So if you are getting them up, people are looking for having a less head counts, and things are done by the third parties. And when people are looking for do these things from the third party, the cleaning industry and the ex-cleaning companies play a very, very crucial role in that.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts, Mr. Prabhat. Sidrah, could you take this question in the meantime?
Yes. So, I mean, as we know, Qatar is gearing up for the massive infrastructure development and challenges on the account of opening FIFA and also the Qatar National Vision 2030. I'll answer it in two parts. First, being the supplier of these hygienic products. Yes, with with more hotels opening up, there are, for the hotels itself, they have to make sure that the supply, like Mr. Prabhat mentioned, has to be consistent. They cannot, rely on someone who cannot provide as and when the requirement is there. And of course, it is expected to go up with the coming FIFA and with the influx of tourists who's going to come up. So of course, we have to make sure the hotel, the cleaning staff have to make sure, the housekeeping, I would say, that the supply is there, and the right amount and the right usage of product should be there. The right training of the staff needs to be done. And from the guest perspective, or from the perspective who's going to be staying at the hotel, they need to see that the extra confidence or the extra assurance for the hotel, that what are they taking, the extra mile that the hotel is going to make sure that guests and the staff, they are safe. And this brings in the competition, because with more availability, it puts kind of pressure for a hotel to go that extra mile. There are a lot of certifications which are being rolled out, which kind of gives that third party validation, like GBAG, which has been introduced by ISSA, that gives the third party validation that this facility or this business or this hotel is protected. The cleaning staff or the protocols are being taken, they are up to the mark. So of course, I think these are the areas which needs to be taken care of.
Thank you, Sidrah, for sharing your thoughts. Mr. Shahed, could you take this question next? The FIFA World Cup is coming, so how do you think this will affect a manufacturer in Qatar?
Yeah, okay. So, see if you look at the World Cup as a whole. So, the World Cup is comes around every 4 years, and it's the single biggest sporting event which gathers mass publicity and mass people. Okay, and it's a great opportunity for Qatar to put itself on the map globally and leave a legacy that can last years and years. Let's be honest. The reason for the World Cup is to project Qatar. It's to show the world this is who we are. This is what we can do. The cleaning industry will face challenges. Will face challenges. Planning, in my opinion, will be the strongest suit that they could have. Whether they are partnered with the correct manpower company that can supply them the manpower to make sure that they have ample staff, very important. Hygiene company, they need to be partnered with hygiene companies. I think Prabhat mentioned, okay, so everybody's willing to give you supplies just now. Businesses so, they're willing to give you supplies, but have they thought about supply chain? Have they thought about storage? I can give you an example with one of our warehouses, third-party warehouse. We have asked to increase our storage already for 2022, and we're paying for it now because we've locked that space. It's all about pre-planning. If our clients can pre-plan, then there will be no issues. But unfortunately, I don't think everybody will be geared up for it. So I would say pre-planning. If we go back to the World Cup, so look at Russia. The World Cup was spread over a country. Russia is huge. Okay, so you had games in St. Petersburg, you had games in Moscow. It was huge. We are actually going to host the World Cup within a city. If you think about it, Doha is not that big. I can look outside my window and I can see 3 World Cup stadiums. So the people, the congestion of people and the turnover in your hotels, if you look at hotels, hospitality sectors, restaurants, it's going to be massive, massive. So my advice to anybody would be to pre-plan. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shahed. Now, my next question is about the Qatar Clean program. I've often heard about Qatar Clean program, but I'm very curious to hear more about it. So, Mr. Prabhat, could you, being in the hotel industry, could you please share more details about the Qatar Clean program? What is it, and who qualifies for the Qatar Clean certification?
Well, Qatar Clean program is a wonderful initiative which has been taken by QTA, and this came up at the post-COVID when it started it up, and people were starting the guidelines. There was a time, like most of the international chains, as us, we were with Cleveland Clinic, IHG, somebody was with different things. So they were getting the guidelines from them, which they were following. But the challenge was the non-star hotels or small hotels, and how the people will be more comfortable and confident to visit them. But at the end of the day, all of the hotels and all are in your place. So QTA came up with wonderful initiative with directives of MOPH, and where they have came together and spread a guidelines, a uniform blanket for all hotels around the country to follow up the cleanliness, hygiene, and the maintenance as for the COVID protocols. And it falls, so those guidelines, those checklists were very, very strictly audited, which are time to time, surprise audit also are there, audited to the properties, and then given a certification. And in that, abide from your brand, your standards, what you are doing, well and good, you have to follow those so that all hotels come to a one common platform threshold, that all hotels are safe to serve. And then we have a wonderful certification, which proudly we can share with the guests. So the time when guests enter, they find, yeah, the property is Qatar Clean certified. So it gives them a very, very strong feeling that they are safe. The same happens for the F&B guidelines, spa guidelines. So these guidelines were given so that even if you are not assisted with the help of the big brands or big chains, you are a single unit or you're following the guidelines or you have a problem. So QTA holded the hand of them also so that they can also get help to make the checklist to follow. Because when they provided us a checklist, we said, we have already with our checklist well enough. If something is missing, what they are giving, you have to add on that. That was for our case. But if it's the single properties who don't have, who has to develop, it was a big, big blessings for them to follow it up, those standards, those guidelines. And it was very easy for them to run a safe hotel, which is 100% sanitized and clean for the guests to visit.
That is definitely a wonderful initiative, I believe. Mr. Shahed, what are your thoughts about the Qatar Clean program? Now, since there are a lot of guidelines in place, does it affect a manufacturer in Qatar?
Sorry, could you say the last bit? Does it affect?
Does it affect you as a manufacturer?
It's good for business. Let's be honest. I mean, Prabhat, he's basically covered what Qatar Clean is. Qatar Clean is this initiative, a drive not only for cleaning but for sanitization. And COVID has highlighted lots of gaps, which unfortunately we found many facilities weren't adhering to. And like Prabhat had mentioned, it was more of the lesser, the independent chains. For us as a manufacturer and a supplier, it's good for business. Yeah. So, I mean, we can supply solutions that they probably weren't purchasing before. And at the end of the day, it gives us a great satisfaction to know that we are providing a service and the end user and the public are being kept safe, especially during the pandemic, which was a real concern for everybody.
I will just take it up on that. How it helped the vendors, what your question is, was they also got the guidelines, what they have to purchase. Because of what, for us, because of what happened is initially when the things were coming in the market and everybody was like a headless chicken. Nobody had an idea what the COVID is. Somebody's bringing a tunnel and saying tunnels are the best thing. Somebody's putting a UV lights. Somebody is bringing the A, B, and C chemicals. So nobody had an idea what exactly the best things will be. And when there's something like this guidelines came, so people know, microfiber duster you require, these are the chemicals, you require a sanitizer, 75% alcohol or 80% alcohol, you require the wipes. So they know very easy, rather than blocking their money for something which is not that important, to get, this is something if I will get, I will have the people from any of the hotel will buy. So it was a uniform for them, a platform also, which made them easier to get the new things rather than the whims and fancies of the people.
Yeah. So just to add on what Prabhat was saying, during the pandemic and when we started this Qatar Clean initiative, we were inundated with requests. We were basically sold out of hand sanitizer within 2 weeks. We had no stock. Everybody was just snapping up supplies. Whoever was taking 20 gallons was taking 100 gallons. We were fortunate enough that we are a manufacturer and our supply chain has a global reach, and we managed to get supplies in within about a month, which was unheard of. Unheard of. They've done really well. Yeah, so going back to Prabhat's what he said, the demand at the time was very strong, and if you were partnered with the right supplier, you were in safe hands. But if you were not, then you were struggling.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shahed and Mr. Prabhat.
So the question was the commercial cleaning impact in the Qatar industries, right? So yep. I want to answer the question in a way of the synergizing the systems, like a cleaning equipment and the robotic system. In the beginning, also our one of colleagues said already, the robotic system are starting to impact in our life, not only in the cleaning section, in all the sections, especially in the cleaning wise. Like let's say in a simple way, we will not use a mop
for the cleaning the floors, we will use a techno equipment. It will save our timing, it will save our chemical using, and it will help on all the section, like humans, let's say. Once our staff are tired to let's say lazy to use the PPE, they can harm themselves. Sometimes they are forgetting their safety. But with the technology equipments,
yeah. As far as my understanding is, can I quote my vision on the commercial impact in the Qatar cleaning industry?
Please do. We would be happy to hear it, Haroon. You have the floor.
Shall I post my vision on this particular aspect of the Qatar cleaning industry? So let us say that most of the companies who bid they go for the tender for the cleaning tenderings. What they do is, most of the companies, most of the C profile companies, they don't quote for the leave salaries. They don't quote for other employer aspects or future benefits of the employee. So this cost definitely hurdles the company, cost of the company when they come into the operations. They are unable to send the employees on leave because they haven't incurred this particular cost. And when it comes to operation, they are not able to send the people on vacations. So, moreover, Qatar labor law, they have taken a very strict action now, fixing the labor salary as 1,000 plus the food. This has made a very big difference, but still, there are companies who still they have the room of manipulating, and they use the employee on 12-hour basis, 14-hour basis, instead of that 8 hours duty schedule. So this is one of the things which the cleaning industry has to keenly look into it, and the government also has to see the working hours of the cleaning staff. So any company who wins the bidding, definitely when they come into the operations, they find the hurdles because they haven't costed for these certain aspects of the leave salary and the additional employee, the reliever employee salary. These all has to be costed. So the costing is not done properly, and end of the day, it results in an operations failure or a financial failure for all the companies who's operating.
Can I add to that, Haroon?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're partnered with many facility management companies, and they tender for many big projects, and they come to us, Reza, Hygiene. They come to us for our solutions. They say, okay, Shahed, can we have your machinery, quotas for your machinery, quotas for your consumables, your chemicals, etc. We go ahead and we quote them, and then, as you say, when they win the tender, then they realise, oh, wait a minute, we haven't factored in X, Y, and Z. And then when their budget has went from there to there. And then, and also as the project is ongoing, say they were getting like premium supplies, and they were going for the best of the best. Sooner or later, they start chipping away, and either A, they've not costed it correctly, or they want to make more money. It's one of the two. And unfortunately, as you also mentioned, the poor workers, the people who are front facing, the ones on the ground, we go in, we do the training, and we see the morale. We see how sometimes they're really deflated and they don't really want to be there. It's great when you walk into a facility and you see the staff are upbeat, they're happy, you know they're being treated well, and then you know they're working for a very good company. Yeah, so I completely agree with everything you're saying. Yeah, well said.
Okay. Coming to your point, your voice was really echoing, but still, as far as I've understood, let me reply you back. Companies, when they quote with their asset at the back. They don't quote for the, they go, most of the companies, if they have their machineries and equipments with them at the back end, if they have as an asset at a zero cost, so they don't cost it on during the tendering phase. So they have an advantage on winning these tenders. Then next, coming to the consumables, as you said, there are different types of tissues which comes in different types of plies, 1 ply, 2 ply, 3 ply. So each comes in a different cost. So companies, when they quote it, they quote with the minimum ply or with the minimum cost of the supplements for the supplies for the cleaning industry. And when they come into the process of the operation, what happens is the client's demand would be, instead of 1 ply, it would be 3 ply, where the cost again is an addition to them. Here, the cleaning industry fails to comply to give the quality of to maintain the standard and the quality of the expectations of the client. So this is one of the major facts what is being observed in most of the tendering and in the operations. And even when the chemicals, there are A chemical to B chemical, C chemical, the different ranges of chemical qualities. So they bid for something and they use for something. And end of the day, the client pushes them to bring in the quality, the right client. They don't get the approval, or during the RFQ or during the initial phases before the tendering itself, they don't take the client doesn't advise them, or they don't give them the proper information of what kind of materials and consumables has to be used. This has to be an asset, or this has to be the materials that has to be distributed to us during the operations. So these are the major facts which really have an impact in the commercial cleaning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Also, when you mentioned different grades of chemicals, A, B, and C, when they start using the B and C grade chemicals, then they'll start finding problems within their facility, whether it's damaged the floor, whether it's damaged a door, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, but this is where I suppose myself and the company similar to me, where we partner with them and we say, listen, guys, we know what to give you. Please stick to the chemical proposed for that purpose. Yeah. We've seen it many a time. You go to a customer, they take a gallon that's going to be 35, 40 real. You walk out the door, 2 weeks later, they've got a 15 real multi-purpose and they're using it everywhere.
Fantastic.
That's
That's the reality of what is happening in the current market.
It happens. It happens.
So when we are checking it out, the next one is what type of the cleaning chemicals and equipments have been in demand in Qatar in recent times. When we are talking about that, as I said, from post-COVID, things were a little different. Otherwise, the cleaning chemicals will be, things won't change anything because the basic cleaning will be the same. But the things which are changed is people are much more into the chemicals where they are more for the COVID and other things there. One. Second is steam cleaning became more popular than the normal scrubbing because it is unifying and it gives you in mind, okay, 70 degree plus, it kills the corona germs and things. So people are very, very happy on that. Those viruses are out. So steam cleaning is very much in. The second one, which is very, very in, is electrostatic spray. So now it becomes a foundation that when you clean anything good, so the last touch-up is always the electrostatic spray. So you are getting those done. Last not the least, which is the third one, is UV lights. Many people are using UV lights nowadays, even in your keys or items which are used much more, people are using UV lights. So these are 3-4 things which are very much into there. Degrajam or few of the chemicals Ecolab and others have for against the COVID thingy people are using them very often. So these are things which are very, very, very popular nowadays. And last not the least is your sensor, all sensor-based hand soap or a lotion or the sanitizers in the public areas, because people don't want to touch anymore, even though they are gradually moving it out back to the normal. But still, these are things which are very, very, very popular in given times. Haroon, any thoughts of yours on that?
To be honest, no doubts about that. What you have said is very clear, very relevant to the market, what you have observed and what you have practiced. It's really fantastic point. What you have,
Shahed, what's your thoughts on that?
Sorry, who was that to? Sidrah?
To you.
To myself?
I'm asking about the chemicals and all, which are the new trends which are coming up in the market, which people are buying, as I told, electrostatic spray or other things.
Do you want to take that, Sidrah?
Pardon?
Shall we give Sidrah that question? She's not said anything for a while.
Oh, fine, sure.
She feels left out.
Okay.
No. I'll let you answer the Shahed.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was the question? The question was about which chemicals are in demand just now.
Chemical and equipments.
Chemical equipment. Okay, the obvious one, hand sanitizer. Everybody's using it. Well, they were using it. They were washing it. They were covering it. They were putting it on and on and on and on. The reality is, see, when you use that much alcohol-based sanitizers, and if you're using it on your hands every day, 3 to 4, 5, 6, 7 times a day, there's going to be an adverse reaction. Your hands will get affected. Our hands are not made to take 70% alcohol hour upon hour. Okay. There is alternatives, by the way, so if anybody's looking for an alternative, come and see me. We have non-alcohol based sanitizers, which are fabulous. I'll let you know all about it later. Yeah, dispensers. Hand sanitizer dispensers. Prabhat mentioned sensor. Everybody wanted, oh, they need to be sensor. They need to be sensor. I don't see what's the word? Forgot my name now. So I don't see the need for a sensor dispenser other than it's in the person's perception, it's in their mind. If you think about it, so when you go to press a dispenser with your hand, yeah, you've touched the dispenser, then the soap will go on your hand. And as you're agitating it, as you're rubbing the soap, if you had any viruses, they're going to be killed. They will die. But people have this perception in their head, we need to have a sensor dispenser. And likewise, if it was a sanitizer, if you pressed it with your hand, yeah, you might have contact with bacteria. But as soon as you apply that sanitizer, it kills it. It kills it. This sensor dispensers, okay, they're expensive. Yeah, they're expensive. If we look at the average price for a manual dispenser, probably about in the market 60 to 70 Riyal for a good quality manual dispenser. If you go to the sensor, they're probably 150 to 180 Riyal. So it's 3 times the price. And the price of that dispenser goes on to the price of the chemical if you're giving them free on loan. Or if the facility is buying it, it's an added expense. Maybe some facilities, especially during COVID, they couldn't afford it. It was burning a hole in the pocket to having to put, if you look at schools, for instance, schools were putting in hundreds of dispensers everywhere, paper dispensers, hand sanitizer dispensers. We made some very good business out of schools, but it was a government requirement. They had no option. They had to do it. Yeah, so that was, I would say that during the pandemic, that was your 2 most sought after items was hand sanitizer, dispensers, and surface sanitizer. Another one, surface sanitizer. You mentioned electrostatic foggers. Yeah, so just your regular ULB foggers. People were snapping them up. We couldn't bring enough of them in. And then obviously the chemical that goes along with that. So that was your 3 main products. Sidrah, anything to add?
Thank you very much. I'll just quickly, because I think Haroon, you mentioned about the tissue paper, the facial tissues. So even before the pandemic, our, I mean, the product that we do was the sterilized tissue papers, and we take pride in the fact that the first hand that touches the tissue paper that we use, the fine tissue paper, is going to be yours. So during the whole production line, during this whole process, it is not going to be touched by any other human or any other thing. So we've been taking care of the fact that our tissue paper, our facial tissues, they are sterilized before that. And since the pandemic broke, because we had the right technologies, we had the right access to the technologies, we partnered up with the Z71, and then we introduced, like Shahed mentioned, the non-alcohol based, the foam hand sanitizer, which is tested, and it is tested to be proven that it stays on your hand, and it's effective till 24 hours. Same for our surface disinfectant, which we introduced during last year, which is tested to be proven effective for 21 days. So we are doing all these testing, all these trials at all these places, and so far it's going really well. But these are what, just to support our our partners, our clients. These are the things that we came up with during last year, during the pandemic.
Zakiyya.
Yes.
Yeah.
Zakiyya is back. Zakiyya, we're hosting it ourselves now. I don't know what happened to the host. We're just doing it amongst ourselves.
Yeah, where is Samya?
We just have a problem in the internet connection and everything. Yes. What was the question?
The question was, what are the chemicals and the equipments you came into the usage post-pandemic?
Okay. After, as you know, that the COVID-19, we start to synergizing all the, let's say, chemicals and equipment to each other. As the other colleagues that say that about the sanitizer, which we are not touching exactly to the equipment. We are just putting our hand down of the sanitizer, and sanitizer to come in our hand. It is auto sanitized equipment, let's say. So these things are showing us that all the chemicals, simple as sanitizer,
Okay.
or other related things for the cleaning, they are combined with each other. Yeah, please.
Very
Hello,
good.
can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Yes.
Oh, I'm
Yes.
so sorry.
Yes,
I'm so
yes,
sorry. I
yes,
had a
yes.
slight technical glitch over there.
No problem.
Moving on to our next question. What are the challenges that you anticipate in the Qatar market in terms of cleaning in the coming years, and how do you plan to overcome them? Mr. Haroon, if you can quickly take that one.
Sure, definitely. The Qatar industry, cleaning industry, they are facing huge problems in bringing the manpower, where it is slightly being eased at the moment. But unfortunately, still the cleaning companies, what they face is they have an additional cost to their head, like the quarantine charges, the vaccination, and other aspects regarding bringing an employee to the country for the employment. And besides that, even the employee, he gets a big hit in his native country through his agencies, by all this additional cost being borne on that employee's head. He pays this much of amount to come into the country. Later on, he has to work for 7 to 8 months to incur all what he has spent for his job. So companies, they totally put on these total costs on the employee's head. Then bringing in here the time factor, the client, they are very keen. They want it now. They want it very now. They won't understand the struggles the companies are facing to bring in the manpower. Locally, if they go for hires, then another very big challenge. Employees switch from company to company when the regulations, job changing regulations recently, and again I believe that has been re-regulated to the old structure, and people were running from one company to another. where the attrition level was 80%. In each cleaning company, the attrition level was 80%. The uh, the employer was really worried how to hold an employee in his hold. So that was these are the major key factors which are affecting and are keenly to be looked on or need to be strategized appropriately by the government, and or they need to set a panel in the government to observe all these things, put up a proper regulation so that neither the company faces an issue, neither the employee faces an issue. So this will for forecasting the 2022 World Cup, these measures are to be keenly looked into it, and hopefully Qatar will be in one of the best operating countries.
Samia, the same
Yes.
question, I will mix it up with one more to wrap it up on the thing. As you said, there is a big challenge of getting people in right now. Yeah. And there is a big shortage of the manpower. Right now, when the housekeeper or any of the properties people look for, they look for head. Come on and start working. How much we are confident with the training of the staff? This is very, very important. You get a lot of Zigmo machines, you get, but who will use them up? You have a smart equipment, but you don't have a smart people. And housekeeping is not the first choice of the people who are coming here. So what happened is, even if it's a waiter or a starting job. So Zakiyya, you can also tell in a kitchen stewarding also, or anywhere, when the people come, they are totally lame, fresher. When they are not selected anywhere, they went to the kitchen stewarding, housekeeping and all. And now you bought these multi-million machines to operate. If they are not trained, they will damage, which will be more than your advancedity. You will go to the basics, So how much you are in putting yourself into the trainings? Zakiyya.
Yes, I hear the question. Thank you. First of all, generally the training is done in our hotel system the weekly. As we know that the human is starting beginning to the washing and cleaning everything by a hand, manual way. Equipment in the last 20, 15 years starting to enter our life. I prefer always to teach them and to show that I handle the situation with minimum equipment, which is everything can happen. Like as you see, the technology things, the internet cut off and I disconnect, something happened. So things can happen with them also. They can damage the equipment. Equipment can make a problem with anything. So minimizing the working with the equipment and trying to the saving time with the manual cleaning is the best way. So I can teach them. The second, the equipment now technology, it cannot go outside from our life. It is the second, let's say, stage. So the working with the equipment daily. If you have a question, come ask. Being a friendly, but keeping a distance. That you have to keep the equipment usage in this limit. You have to use in this times in this period. That things I think to all the hotels and let's say the companies to using the equipment and keeping the staff aware about the equipment and cleaning also on the right track.
Thank you, Zakiyya. Thank you so much. Since we are short on time, I'll quickly wrap up with an audience question. Okay. This question is open to all the panelists. Like, what lies ahead for the cleaning industry in Qatar in wake of the FIFA World Cup 2022 and other events?
I'll take this one very briefly, then I'll pass it on to somebody else. Okay, with the run up to the World Cup, we'll look at what's happening just now. Global supply chain is really stretched. I'll give you an example. We were bringing in a container from the UK, which was costing us $1,200. Now it's gone up to $6,000. Raw materials, see, phosphoric acid went from $850 a metric ton to $3,200 per metric ton. So it's almost quadrupled. Paper prices have all gone up. Cellulose, Sidrah will probably be able to back me up on this. Raw materials for paper has gone through the roof. One of our manufacturers has also put up the price because he has no wood and he can't put his product on a pallet to ship it out to us. He said that, well, my cardboards went up, my pallet prices went up. I need to put the price up to you. Up till now, we have absorbed this. About 95% of the costs we've absorbed, but it will start, there will be an effect with the end users, yourselves in hotels, restaurants, etc. You will start seeing this cost being passed on to you. It's unfortunate, but be prepared for it. It's going to happen. And I don't see supply chain getting fixed anytime soon. I was watching the news. They think next summer, by the time this supply chain issue gets resolved.
Mr. Prabhat, would you like to add to that?
No, he has completed almost everything on that.
All right. Anybody else would like to add to that? Any other panelist?
Myself, Ms. Samia.
Sure.
The companies will have to work on the attention to details, focusing the best quality what they can provide for this 2022 World Cup. Major quality companies will be bidding for the major events and the stadium cleanings as well. So they'll attention to the details, attention to detail cleaning and a quality cleaning will be really forecasted for this 2022 World Cup. And it will stay a key factor because the government has spent a lot of money in bringing the World Cup to this country, which is a pride, very pride for this country. So attention to details, again and again, I reiterate is that the attention to details and a quality cleaning will be expected whoever bids in for the stadium cleanings and the hotel cleanings.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's a wrap. Thank you so much, Mr. Prabhat, Mr. Shahed, Mr. Haroon, Zakiyya, and Sidrah for this interesting conversation. And thank you to all our listeners. We appreciate you being here and hope this brief discussion has helped you gain perspective on how commercial cleaning is changing in Qatar. This session will be followed by a brief networking break and another interesting panel discussion about Qatar waste management industry. Stay connected and thank you.
Thank you.
Many thanks for the opportunity, Ms. Samia.
Thank you,
You're
Samia.
welcome. You're most
Everybody.
welcome.